I've been at eXp for about 3 years in a few different roles, but I've been in the industry somehow 20 years, approximately. I'm not sure how that happened so quickly, but I've been in like basically every possible role that you could be in real estate. I was an agent even for like 6-7 years full time, straight out of college. But before all that, I was a coder, and returned to that eventually, and did a whole bunch of startups. Most didn't work out. 2 worked out really well, and then years later ended up meeting Glenn at just the right time, and then years after that came on board here at eXp, and it's been just an awesome ride. 3 years is transformative at eXp, that's for sure. Let me see if this works. Okay, so I want to tell you though about my department, the Innovation Hub. We are a 6-person team at eXp that is in charge of, or not in charge of, but helping to keep eXp in a sort of leadership position in tech innovation in the industry. I don't need to tell anybody here that eXp is a pretty innovative company, be it from a business model perspective, but also a technology perspective. Clearly, we have most of our meetings as avatars. We basically have a meeting, unknowingly in a metaverse, basically for a decade, and now it actually has a name. So. But that being said, this is sort of the level of commitment at a company like eXp and from a guy like Glenn that he wants to keep that moving and make sure that we stay ahead of the curve with all of the changes that are coming down in the tech world, in the real estate industry, and the mix of those two. He and the leadership were behind the formation of this innovation hub, and that's what we do. So we look at emerging technologies, see if there's a fit for it at eXp. Basically, at the end of the day, all we want to do is make it the best place to be an agent. That's our charge. We're not really like innovating for innovation's sake. We're not trying to build a robot that could smell things or something like that. That's not going to help you guys. We want to always do something for the sake of making everybody more money together and a better life, really. That's what it's all about. So we do everything from rapid prototyping to full-on moonshots, basically. So let's see. So I'm going to skim through this part super quickly. Basically, we've built a lot of different stuff. The Innovation Hub itself has been an official thing for, let's say, a year, approximately. But in the 2 years before that, I existed in a number of different roles. I did technically exist, yeah. In a number of different roles, and so a lot of software got built, but most of what you're seeing here is in the last 2 years. So everything from the software for Express Offers, our in-house iBuyer program, to a custom lead routing platform, to the transaction center that Amelie just mentioned, plus a few other things. Literally all of this stuff here. We built the platform for success coaching, which, if you haven't checked that out, is a super cool program. An internal tool for transaction compliance. That's not very exciting, but very cool technology. All kinds of stuff. We've built some things for success lending, so on and so forth. But what's next and what's in the workshop? I think that's probably going to be the most interesting thing to talk about here. So let's cruise forward. Main areas of interest. This is what we're sort of looking at, and this is what's got our interest. This is what I think could be the most differentiating type of thing for day-to-day for a real estate agent at eXp. Expanding the addressable market. I'll talk about these in detail as we go. Competitive advantages, obviously, that makes sense. We want eXp to be the best place to be an agent, so we want to have competitive advantages. Operational efficiency, that's not super exciting, but as an agent, most eXp agents are also shareholders of the company. If the company can operate more efficiently, more profitable, then all of our stock goes up. So that's good too. A mix of tech and business. I always feel like that's really where it's at. Like I said, technology on its own is rarely going to be a difference maker. Technology mixed with some sort of a business model, think Uber or Amazon, to be honest, right? Then that starts moving the needle, and that's sort of that's always got my eye too. And then full-on moonshots, total game over solutions, as Glenn likes to put it, where it becomes irresponsible not to be an agent at eXp, as if it's not already, right? That's we want to make it even more so, and so we're looking at things like that, big swings. So one area of extreme interest, obviously, crypto. Everybody's heard a lot about this. There's a huge number of ways that crypto could be a real differentiator for eXp in the real estate industry. We can skip to the next slide. One of the, obviously, some of this stuff is happening. I just want to preface this by saying that. Some of this is happening. None of this is happening on a regular basis. And this is what we're sort of looking at. And there's reasons why none of this happens on a regular basis yet. And that's because the solutions in their entirety haven't really been found yet. And that's why we're here. We're here to try to find these solutions, sort of make the discovery and strike gold, right? Buying real estate in crypto, very cool. There's a lot of people that own a lot of crypto, believe it or not. I'm sure a lot of you out here have some or a lot. But think about this. Of the millennial millionaires in the US, an average of 25% of them have up to 25% of their wealth in crypto. That is a lot. And that's ever growing. JP Morgan recommends it to their private banking clientele and so on and so forth. So it's really becoming a thing. The problem is that finding somebody that has enough crypto to buy a house and finding a seller who wants to accept crypto for their house, that ends up being sort of a real small audience. But if there were ways to make that easier, making it so the seller doesn't necessarily have to accept crypto, so on and so forth, there could be quite an opportunity there. So that's something that we're sort of looking into. Paying agents in crypto, sure, not for everyone, but it'd be nice to have that as an option. Tokenizing real estate, this means basically fractionalizing a house and then selling shares of it. But anyway, you've heard of some of these things happening. What we're trying to do is see, does this move the needle? Will this move the needle in 2, 3, 5 years, whatever? And then is there a way to make it so seamless and so easy that it becomes the norm? And then that's the sort of stuff that we look for. So we can skip ahead here. Metaverse. Pretty crazy to think about, but if you're an eXp agent or somewhere in the eXp World Holdings family, you work for the most experienced metaverse company in the world. That is kind of mind-boggling to think about, but that's the truth. What's going to happen with the metaverse sort of technology in the future? Anybody's guess. Again, anybody that says they know for sure should probably be accomplishing that and making it real. The reality is that nobody knows for sure, and we need to keep our eye on it. Let's skip ahead. Yeah, or here, this is good. One thing to note is that there are real transactions happening in the metaverse. In other metaverses around the world, in December, there was a $4.2 million virtual land sale. That's potentially game-changing, obviously, because if you think about maybe only 6 million properties changed hands in the US, right, last few years per year, that's not that many for 2 million realtors to sort of be involved in. So if you could think about, well, if that could be augmented with an infinite number or an exponential number of virtual properties, that's potentially a game-changing type of thing. So we're keeping our eye on that. We're looking to see if there's a way to get eXp agents involved with that. Let's go ahead. AI, everybody's heard of AI. The weird thing about AI in real estate is it's about 99.99% conservatively untapped. If you look at an industry like marketing, how much AI has changed that's the sort of thing that hasn't happened here. When you think of AI in real estate, you might think chatbot, you might think predictive analytics, right? Propensity to sell type of data. Very cool use of it. That can't be the end game though for AI, for what it does for other industries. Nobody in real estate has cracked this yet, and this has the, again, potential to absolutely change everybody's life. So this is the sort of thing that we need to keep digging on. We could skip ahead here, and we can actually skip forward again. Sort of keep moving here. So the total addressable market, TAM. This is something that I think is super interesting. Again, there's 2 million realtors. There's however many 6 million-ish properties changing hands each year. What if there could be more? How could we address, expand that addressable market? People are transaction ready for a tiny part of their life, and that's the part where we all make our money. It'd be great if we can expand that. What else could a real estate agent sort of make money on as an expert in housing, as an expert in their local market? as an expert in, in all of these other things that come along with owning a property and living in an area, seems like there could be more. And then in addition to that, what if we could help people become more transaction ready? Why do people transact so infrequently? Sort of shout out, why do you think people transact so infrequently? It's super expensive and it's a real pain, right? We're all working to make it easier, but that's sort of the reality. People might transact if that sort of barrier was eliminated a bit. Not commissions, that's not what I'm saying, but clearly I want to have everybody in there more often and have more sales happening and get people to transact more. If you think of power buying, where and iBuying, those are solutions to that problem, but they're even more expensive. So we're looking at ways to make that easier and make people transact more often, so you guys can get more sales. That's the sort of stuff we're looking at. Let's go ahead. So here, this is sort of the tail end. So what are we building in the hub right now? Can't get into too many details, obviously, but I can tell you that we are looking into all of the things that I just mentioned here, and we have prototypes of a number of things right now. We do have a crypto play prototype in production. We have 2 expansion of addressable market concepts, where one might make it easier for people to transact, especially those that have a house to sell and buy. A whole entire game-changing program there that we're going to beta. And then another one that's sort of, along the same lines, addressing the same problem from a different angle. And then, of course, countless prototypes and proof of concepts involving metaverse and crypto and AI and so on and so forth. So just wanted to sort of give everybody an overview of what it is that we do, the commitment that eXp has to innovating and continuing to lead the industry. And that's what we're going to be working on. If anybody has any ideas or wants to chat or has further questions, more interest in this, I'm always available to talk. That's my personal email address, personal work email address. And I'd love to talk innovation, all right? So thanks for having me. This is super fun. Next up,